In this video, we're going to be talking about the electrical system of the heart. So to start off with, I'm going to draw a rough drawing of the heart itself, just to help you understand how the specific regions of the heart and the specific cells involved in this process work together to collectively form the heartbeat response. So I'm going to draw just a very rough drawing right here. Okay, super rough drawing, but this will just help outline this process clearly. So to start off with, we have the divisions into the right atrium, the right ventricle, and the left atrium and left ventricle. So there's a specific cell known as a pacemaker cell, which is capable of depolarizing itself. And what essentially depolarization means is that it is capable of changing its membrane potential from negative to positive. So the specific pacemaker cell is located in this node known as the sinoatrial node, which is right here. So I'm just going to label that. So sinoatrial node, we'll just say SA node. So the SA node, and what this specific region will do is it will actually communicate and send signals to various other cells around this region, essentially causing a spreading activation, allowing for the cells surrounding the SA node to become depolarized as well. There's also a longer region right here that I'm drawing in blue. And this is known as Bachmann's bundle, and this allows for the spreading depolarization from the right side of the heart to the left side of the heart. So I'm just going to label that here as Bachmann's bundle. From this SA node, the actual next point of spreading activation via depolarization will actually be to a region at the center known as the atrial ventricular node. So I'm going to just label that here, atrial ventricular node, AV node. And how this spreading activation occurs is via the internodal pathways, which I'm labeling in black, or internodal tracks. That also works. But you can see that this spreading depolarization occurs from the SA node to this atrial ventricular node via these internodal pathways. Now from this atrial ventricular node, it will pause for a second and delay. And this is to ensure that when the atrium contracts and the ventricles contract, they are not actually pushing blood against one another and they are working together. That's why there is a slight pause at the AV node. And from this region, there is actually a specific portion here. And this is called the bundle of His. Now the bundle of His will actually separate into, and for the sake of this drawing, I'm actually going to make the heart slightly bigger just to help. So the bundle of His will divide into the left posterior fascicle, which is the one I've drawn here, the left anterior fascicle, and then the right bundle, which will divide out there. So I'll just circle it and say this is the left posterior fascicle, LPF, and this is the LAF, and this is just the right bundle here. This is also just the left bundle, but for the sake of helping you understand this division, I'm drawing the left posterior fascicle and the left anterior fascicle. Now from this region at the base, there will be a branching of fibers. You can see here that I'm drawing here. And these specific branched fibers are known as Purkinje fibers. And Purkinje fibers allow for the final ventricular depolarization process and allow for the total depolarization, resulting in ventricular contraction. So Purkinje fibers facilitate that final process, allowing for the ventricles to finally contract. The initial depolarization of the sinoatrial node, facilitating the conduction of electrical messages from the sinoatrial node to the left side of the heart via Bachmann's bundle, and then the internodal pathways that I've labeled in black towards the atrial ventricular node, the bundle of His, the further divisions of the bundle of His separating out into the right bundle, the left posterior fascicle, the left anterior fascicle, And finally, the Purkinje fibers here at the base, which allow for the ventricles to become depolarized and for the ventricles to contract as a result. Now, before I finish this video, I do want to talk about that delay that I slightly mentioned before, but not really in enough detail. So this is along 3 seconds. Now, the first second, we're going to outline how the atrial contraction differs from the ventricular contraction. So the atrial contraction is in red, and it'll occur like that. The ventricular contraction, however, will occur like that. And what that means is this portion here, this small portion, there is a slight delay between the atrial contraction and the ventricular contraction. And this contraction is roughly 0.1 seconds delay. So that ensures that blood, the atrial contraction and the ventricular contraction, are not pushing blood against one another, and that they are working together to facilitate this process correctly. Okay, that is everything that we're going to be covering in this video, going over the electrical system of the heart. Hopefully this video was informative. It was definitely helpful to help revise this learning and to help understand it myself. With all that being said, that's all we're going to be covering in this video.